2024. We are officially here, day 1,827 in a row of the Mark Inspire Show. And we're here, start of the year, new year, 2024. How did you ring in last night? I hope you had a great evening. And we're here bright and early-ish, 11 o'clock. It was a late night. We put on the show early, wrote one more song for New Year, or for the 2023 year, and then came back. We actually put the Batmark versus Supermark movie on, so anybody who didn't have a place to go last night during the ball drop could join the Mark Inspire Show and hang out in the chat and be a part of the experience that we put on every single day here, which is pure positivity. But today, I'm a real estate agent. This year, 2024, I'm going to be getting on early every single day. I'm hoping around 6 a.m. It's going to be difficult to do that, but if I get to sleep early enough each night, that should be no problem. This is a live creation, live positivity, inspiration show. I create songs in the moment. I'm the inventor of the only drum in the world for guitar players. When you invent something, it's a pretty big deal. But when you go through a patent process, so they confirm that you are the only person to ever think of this thing, that's a very powerful piece of paper to hold. And I have a patent for the only drum in the world for guitar players. I play it every single night for the last 5 years. Now we're starting something new. In the morning, I'm going to amplify you guys, but I want to fill you in with real estate information. I'm a realtor during the day, so I don't want you to forget that that's how I make a living. Yes, I'm here to entertain you. Yes, I'm here to break you away from this negative matrix world we're living in. However, I make a living by selling, listing, and working with buying clients on real estate. So whenever you need to buy or sell real estate, I want you to think of Mark Inspires, because that is how I make a living the last 5 years, even though I've been here every day. During the day, I'm selling real estate. So we'll focus a lot more in 2024 on my business. We will still amplify you. We will still make you laugh. We will still create songs. But the morning show, I think specifically, is going to be inspiration and market information. So what we're doing today is a few things. We're going to talk about the market. I got a few different articles we're going to read, news stories about where 2024 is looking to go for real estate. A little of this is focused on Connecticut because that's where I sell real estate, Connecticut and New York. But you should be able to extrapolate all this information and apply it to your markets as well. If you have any questions along the way, make sure you send them on. I'll answer any questions for you. Even if you're somewhere, you're in Los Angeles and you want to know what the market is like out there, I'll do the research and I'll cover the entire thing on the show. Another thing we're going to do today, this is the first time we're doing this, I'm making cold calls. I'm calling expired listings today. I already pulled up a couple numbers, and just so you know, these can go horribly wrong. I mean, people like to smash you in the face when you call them, especially on New Year's Day. They're like, what are you bothering me for on New Year's Day? I don't want to talk to you, buddy. Well, hold on, sir. Your house expired. Clearly, you tried to sell it once, and it didn't work. Give me a couple minutes to speak with you. Let me share what I could do differently. Let's see if we can, together, teamwork, make this process smooth and clean and get you that property sold. I got Matt Zabrowski here. First day of 2024. He's about to hit you with a woohoo. What's that, Zabrowski? Oh, he wants me to throw it to him. Right. You know, when you got Matt Zabrowski here, he's getting you off on the right foot. You know, January 1st, 2024. Most people don't get a woohoo first day of the year. Zabrowski gives it to you. Clapper, how you guys doing? I appreciate you being here with me. We're doing a little real estate review, some cold calls. Unfortunately, when I go to the cold call section of this show, I'm going to have to click off a Clapper because I need my phone to make those phone calls. But stick around. We're going to go over the market review. And if you have any questions, like I said, I'm happy to answer them. We've been live every day since December 31st, 2018. And we are now into year 6 every single day live. So make sure you subscribe. Turn on all notifications on YouTube. I drop content all the time. News, comedy, music, and it's all steeped in positivity and totally great vibes. So make sure you join. Let's get to the news stories of the day. Let me see what we have here. This, I pulled up a couple of real trends stories just so we could see exactly what's going on out there. And like I said, I did pull up a couple expired listings so we can make those phone calls today. So let's start with the bigger question, which is experts discussing the real estate trends for 2024. Will it be a buyer or seller's market? Now, what I'm going to do here on YouTube, if you guys want to join on Clapper, you can see this article as I read it. I'm going to be broadcasting it through Screen Grab on OBS. So you guys will be able to see these stories as I'm reading them. Let's see if we can pop that up. Joanne. Display capture, I think that's what it is. Yeah, okay. So we're going to go over here. No, I'm trying to get... All right, let's see if that works. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Never mind. All right, we need to find... I thought it was called display capture. Maybe it's not. Let's see. Screen grab, something like that. Where are you? Display? No. Media source, window capture device. I think it's window capture. Let's go with that. We'll do window capture. Yeah, okay, good. So, there we are. Our story is up. Let me throw another version of myself on so you guys can see me. Here we go. Camera source. Jeez, this is why you're supposed to do all this stuff before. Before you go live, Mark. Let's see. Here we go. Found it. All right, good. So now we have a double-decker style. I'm here. I'm smaller in the screen. And we're going to read this story together. So head over to YouTube, guys, so you can see the story. What we have here is this. Experts discuss real estate trends for 2024. Will it be a buyer or seller's market? This is out of Long Island, New York. Many home buyers across the tri-state area are rejoicing as mortgage rates start to tick down a bit. But what will the 2024 year look like? Will it be a buyer's market or a seller's market? Experts say it could be a mixed bag. If you're thinking about selling your home, it's an absolutely perfect time to do so, says Mike McLean, licensed real estate agent at Signature Premier Properties. McLean thinks that now and most of 2024 will still be a seller's market, despite mortgage rates being still higher than most would like. The buzz that we have been hearing for the last several years is going to continue, McLean said. According to the National Association of Realtors, home prices are still costly due to a lack of inventory. This is absolutely true. I'm in the Northeast. I sell real estate in Connecticut. There is nothing on the market. The moment it hits the market, anybody who's actually in the market swamps that property to see if it's worthwhile. Multiple offers. People are still fighting, paying way over asking price for things, and they're not worth it, but they need homes. They need houses. You know, it's my old manager used to say that in every market, there are 10 to 12 active buyers in every price point. Now, you take a market like this, that's like 20 buyers in every price point. But even in a bad market, there are 10 to 12 active and ready-to-go buyers in every price point. Some of these price points have 4 properties. They have 0 properties. And you have to understand why. The reality is you had the rates at levels that we'll never see again. Right up until the pandemic, we were at like 2. Some people were getting high 1s. Yeah. And they were doing like 15 years. They're doing high 1s, low 2s. I saw someone recently, I locked in at 2%. And now we went up to 9, a little under 8 at this point. But the rates have quadrupled in the last year, year and a half. And we're feeling the strain in the market because what happens is those people who all locked into their 2.5% interest rates, they have no interest in selling. I'm not going to sell my house if I have to go sideways and then pay 8% for that next house. The only homes you see coming to market right now are those who need to get out of town. Those that are upgrading. They've got a 2,000 square foot house, but they want a 4,000 square foot house. They don't mind that interest difference because they need more home. The rest of them, they're sitting back and they're waiting. They're like, you know what? We'll see how this plays out. Right now, I'm not doing an 8%. I got 2 over here. I'm going to sit on my 2.5, 2 and change until things get back to 4, maybe high 4s. Don't know if we go there. My first home I purchased was 6.75. I didn't know anything at the time, but I remember people saying, it was 18% in the 80s. I was like, 18%? It was higher than that at some points. So I know we think 8% is high. I know we're like, oh my goodness, interest rates. But there were times where it was double this, and maybe even triple we had in the 20s in the mortgage and loan crisis in the 80s. So this has been happening forever. It's a roller coaster effect. You got to try to somehow get in on the bottom. And like I said, when you get in on the bottom and things go bad, nobody wants to sell. So we're going to be sitting on limited inventory this year. That's what I think. that also means that prices stay up. And people aren't making as much money to buy homes. So now our buyer pool will get smaller. I think it's going to be a mixed bag this year for sure. There are always homes that are great white elephants, that home everybody wants. They're always going to overpay for that house. Right in town, 4 acres, a pool, whatever it is that most of buyers would want to attract to, you're going to have a little bit of a war for that property. There's still properties that no one wants, even in a market like this, because the sellers are unrealistic with their pricing because they see everything else around them trading at over asking price. I've had clients that say, I think I should get this. Well, it doesn't matter what you think. The market will speak. You have to decide whether or not you're willing to accept. There's one reality to real estate. It's what a buyer is willing to pay and a seller is willing to accept. Nothing else. Now, buyers will always try to get things for less, but if the seller's not willing to accept it, no deal. So this year we're looking at limited supply. This year we're looking at a lot of frustration again like last year, mostly because of that limited inventory. So let's keep this moving. Let's see what else we have here. Well, it may take a while. Once new homes do go to the market, it could start to even out the demand. In July, Governor Kathy Hochul issued new executive orders to increase housing supply. How does that happen? We have not kept up with the need for building houses for decades, Hochul said during a press conference in the summer. Experts predict once interest rates start to level out or even drop significantly, which could happen by the end of 2024, demand will skyrocket again. Again, this is speculation here. It's going to be here we go. It's going to be very hard to predict when the rubber band or that sling shot snaps, but it's going to, and I predict it will happen in 2024, said Josh Reddish, CEO of Total Merchant Resources. Reddish thinks buyers will soon wake up from sticker shock once the average consumer accepts what prices are for now. If interest rates just tick down a little bit, I think you're going to see a major catalyst and major increase in business, Reddish said. Experts predict if you buy a home in early 2024, you could be stuck with less options. However, you may find a cheaper house while dealing with a more expensive interest rate until you can refinance. If you are waiting until the end of 2024, there could be more homes to choose from, but you will be dealing with a higher price point and cheaper interest rate. Although experts say bidding wars will likely be back in full force. Reddish says despite the options, buying is usually better than renting. He suggests paying your own mortgage. Are you paying rent? Are you paying your landlord's mortgage? Questions Reddish. Experts say older generations who tend to have more cash to put down on homes are still going to continue to play a major factor in the 2024 housing market. So that's what we have here from this one story, guys. I'm going to read you the second story, and we're going to make a couple phone calls, some cold calls here. Here's how Connecticut home prices are likely to change in 2024. Connecticut's real estate market faces challenges amidst seasonal decline. Will falling mortgage rates and potential shifts in 2024 change the game? Let's see what Taylor Johnston had to say. The Connecticut housing market saw high mortgage rates, low inventory, and rising home values during 2023, but what will this year bring? According to the forecast from Zillow, which closely tracks key metrics around the housing industry here and across the country, there's a mixed good and not so good news in store for the prospective homebuyers in 2024. On the one hand, Nicole Bichaud, a senior economist, Joanne, at Zillow says mortgage rates may come down next year. Still, home prices may rise. Albeit marginally, experts say due to the continued scarcity of properties available for sale. Again, guys, this is all the stuff I said 10 minutes ago. Mortgage rates may come down. May. I hate that word. Beginning in early 2022, the Federal Reserve hiked its benchmark interest rate by 11 times in efforts to address escalating inflation. How did that work out? Mortgage rates surged from averaging around 4% to exceeding 7%, according to Freddie Mac, Bernie Mac's cousin. Mortgage rates have fallen in recent weeks, which has caused some increased activity in the market, according to Bichaud. Nationally, guys, this is a big deal, all right? New construction shows signs that builders are feeling more optimistic with a recent increase in housing starts. Bichaud said in an email, gosh almighty, Joanne, could I do a little bit better reading this? You know? And existing home sales are up nationally. showing increased activity from both buyers and sellers as just a little bit of a wiggle room for affordability. In that period of time, typically slows down. The resurgence of both buyers and sellers entering the market is likely to spark shifts in prices and inventory. Home prices may increase slightly. That's what we need, right, guys? Rates are up and homes, the prices are up too. Unreal. Right now, home prices are down a bit. No, they're not. That's true here and across the country due to seasonal shifts that happen every fall or winter. There's nothing on the market. Nothing is underpriced. Nothing. Okay? Just so you know. There's 5 properties on the market. They're all priced. And they're not priced to sell. They're priced to market and let people fight over it and then determine how ridiculous they want to put themselves, the position they want to put themselves in for the next 5 to 7 years. You know, when everything falls, because it's going to, and you're sitting on this home, this mortgage that you bought way over asking price because you needed that house, you know, we're going to have the same deal we had in '07. Nobody wants to talk about that. Like, guys, go out and buy. I'll do this, 9%. This. And then all of a sudden, nothing's worth what it's supposed to be worth. You've got that reverse equity deal like we had in '07 where you paid $800,000 and it's worth $5. And then you're like, I'm just going to walk away. You have a lot of people walking away from homes. Now, is this the plan? Is this the overarching plan from the World Economic Forum? I don't think so. You will own nothing and be happy by 2030. How do we get there? You know? So again, we're on the real estate front today. But guys, I'm just saying, you know, seems like it's all kind of moving us in that same direction, 2030. Zillow also anticipates additional inventory becoming available as sellers shift away from their perceived mortgage rate lock-in, with inventory numbers rivaling years ago and levels for the first time in the past few years. So this increased inventory might help curb prices as demand picks up, alongside more affordable mortgage choices. Values in the New Haven metropolitan area will potentially see the biggest increase, from almost $348,000 in November 2023 to $356,000 in November 2024. It's a 2.5% increase. So guys, just to give you an idea, New Haven, Bridgeport, 5 years ago, I could go there and buy a 3-family home, $82,000, $85,000. Maybe you're paying a little under $100K just to get in there. I'm almost curious to see. I'm going to do this real quick. Let's do something we've never done before. I'm going to bring you guys into the MLS, and you're going to see with me what Bridgeport, Connecticut looks like right now. And again, that's not a great town. It's a city. But just to give you an example of how crazy things have gotten in the last few years. There's 64 properties on the market right now in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Look at this. Okay, now, I guess this is interesting because there are some, these don't look like, these are all single-family homes, okay? You can get a single family for $60K right now. It's a 600-square-foot house, 600 square feet in Bridgeport. It's probably not in a great area, okay? Success, I don't know where these streets are, Court C, I'm not sure. So under $100,000, there are 9 homes. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 8 homes under $100,000. That's a price point, okay? Now we talk about how every price point has 10 to 12 active buyers. Let's look at the next one. Between $135,000 and $200,000, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 homes on the market in a city like Bridgeport, Connecticut. You used to have hundreds of properties on the market. There's 9 in this price point. Let's go from, I don't know, $200,000 to $300,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 properties in that price point. There's 10 to 12 active buyers in every price point, guys, at all times. Right now, there's 6 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, between $200,000 and $300,000. I mean, this is insane. It gets even worse. Between $300,000 and $400,000, there's 1 property. And that's like the max. I think that's the high. It looks like that may be the high of the area. No, I mean, we have higher. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I got that wrong. Between 2 and 3, we got 11. So again, we're starting to get a little bit more as we get higher up into the range. Now there's 3 properties over $1 million in Bridgeport. Everything else is under 530. So, and we're talking about as an entire city, 64 properties on the market. Let's take another one just to see. You guys seeing this, hopefully? Let's see. Yeah, you are. Okay. I'll show you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. This is the back end. I'm literally showing you guys how I look at real estate on a daily basis. So right now, let's look at my town. I work out of New Canaan, Connecticut, and there are 48 properties on the market. Do you guys know when the market's bad, there's like 220 properties in the market in New Canaan. 220. There were 310, I think, a few years back when it was dead. Like we couldn't even sell anything right before COVID. Right before COVID, it was like 300 properties in the market. There are 48 properties on the market. The crazier thing about that is 12 of those properties are condos. So there's 36 single family homes. And I don't even know if that's only condos, actually, now that I say that. No, I see more. Maple, look at this. Maple number 6, that's a condo. So we're talking about 13 of the 48 properties in New Canaan, Connecticut, one of the nicest towns in the United States of America, has 35 properties for sale. That's insane. That's insane. Just to give you an idea, we talk about price points. How many buyers are in every price point, Mark? Let's be clear about this. So let's forget about the condos because condos act in their own way. There is one property under $1 million in New Canaan, Connecticut right now. One property. 40 Ogden. All right, now let's just take a look at this one. Let me see what this looks like. I haven't seen this one yet. Susan has this listing. I saw one of my colleagues. You know, when you sell real estate in a small town like New Canaan, we all know each other. Like, I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years now. We're all very close. It's a close-knit community of agents in Connecticut. You know, I'd say that most agents know each other, especially the active agents. You know, when I go and I sell real estate, I'm seeing many of the similar names. They probably see my name when I'm listing. Oh, I know Mark. He sells real estate all over in Connecticut and New York. So we are very much acquainted with those who are active in the business. You know, when I see Susan, I'm like, oh yeah, Susan, I've known her for many years. Anyway, so Susan's got this property on the market for $850,000. Guys, it's been on for 26 days. That's like a long time in the real world, you know, because of what happened the last few years. It used to take a half a year to a year to sell property in New Canaan, but now everything sells pretty quickly, a couple weeks, couple months. Right now we're at 26 days. They put this on right before the holiday. I want to give you a little side note about that. I know some people have this philosophy. I'm going to take my property off the market during the holiday. There's no buyers out there. Nobody's buying. Everybody's home with their families. That is the worst idea in the world. And let me tell you why. Everybody's saying the same thing as you. They're all saying, oh, well, you know what? No one's buying during the off season. Let me take my house off the market. So now you have the thing you want most, which is limited inventory. You want to be up against limited inventory. You don't want to have 30, 40 properties in your price point. You want to have 5. Because I'll tell you, the one thing I can guarantee you is there are always active buyers, especially in the holiday season. In 15 years, I've seen many people that only buy in the off season. I've seen people that specifically buy in the off season because they think they're getting a better deal, first of all. And I've seen sellers who've said, I'm taking it off the market, and I've had to fight them tooth and nail to say, no. I'll give you a good example. I had a property on Valley Road in New Canaan when I first started in this business is 2013. 2007 is when I got my license, but 2013 I had this listing. And the seller was a little bit of an interesting lady, let's just say that. I was the 7th real estate agent, okay? 7th real estate agent in, 5 years she tried to sell the house, couldn't sell it. And I walk in the door, 7th listing agent, and it was me and this other guy from my office. We had to go and kind of interview with this lady and see who she chose. I wound up winning the listing over this other guy, and because I went in there, I always go in with a different perspective. You guys know I'm a creator. So when I walked in there, I brought my drone. I brought the paperwork. I said, look, I got all this paperwork to go with you. I got this drone. Do you want to go fly the drone? Or you want to go over all the paperwork? We're going to go over the paperwork anyway, you know? But do you want to fly the drone first and see how I'm going to differentiate your property from the rest of the marketplace? She goes, yeah, let's go out and fly the drone. So I'm showing her. She's like, this thing's amazing. I was the first person to buy a drone in Fairfield County. I specifically saw the future. I was like, okay, everyone's buying a drone. I'm going to be the first. So when I did that, there's a big plaque here, actually, because I was all over the news for a year in 2013. I was on Fox News and Connecticut Channel 6 News, like Channel 8 News in Connecticut. They ran stories about me for a year because I was the first guy to think of bringing drone technology to real estate. And my whole life, I've differentiated. I'm not going to sit back and wait for somebody else to do something. If I see that there's a future somewhere, I'm going there before anybody else. That's why I invented the only drum in the world for guitar players. I didn't wait for somebody else to invent something I needed. I play songs with a loop station and all this stuff under my feet, and I couldn't add percussion. Solutions to problems are the best inventions in the world. I met an engineer once. He goes, the best inventors are the ones who create solutions to problems, and they're usually not engineers. Because I said, why does my BeatSeat have unlimited tone? I said, every other drum I've seen has 2 tones, a bass and a snare. That's it. I said, my drum, everywhere you hit it sounds different. It sounds bassy. You got tom-toms. You got 2 different snares, 5 playable panels. And within those panels, as you move your hands around, you get different tones, different frequency ranges. I said, why? He goes, you're not an engineer, are you? And he was like a Columbia University engineer. He goes, you're not an engineer, are you? I said, no, I'm just a guy who invented something that I needed. He goes, the best inventions come from people who aren't engineers, and they make engineered products. He goes, you created an auditorium out of your BeatSeat. I said, what? He goes, yeah, it's more narrow at the front, it's wider at the back. So you created the byproduct for you just being able to sit comfortably with your guitar. You didn't want to have your legs like a cajon where it's like this. You wanted to be able to sit, play your guitar. By doing that, in essence, you've created an auditorium for your BeatSeat. So everywhere you hit it sounds different. So when I patented the only drum in the world for guitar players, I patented the most versatile drum on planet Earth. It sounds like a full drum kit. And it's in a box. It's one box. And you grab it and go. I got a grab and go bar in the back. And I hand build them for you. It's not like there's a factory out there making your BeatSeat. I hand build it. I cut the wood. I have people now calling me when they cut trees down. And they're like, hey, we got a log over here, walnut. I'm coming over with my Alaskan chainsaw mill. I'm cutting boards out of wood here in Connecticut, drying it here downstairs in the workshop, and then hand building you a BeatSeat out of the wood that I literally milled with an Alaskan chainsaw mill personally. There's not a better origin story in the world for a drum than that. Inventor cuts the wood, mills the wood, dries the wood, and builds you your own personal drum. Not in China, right here in Connecticut. Made in the USA. So if you are a musician, you should buy a BeatSeat from me because of all of what I just told you. But if you're a musician and you're looking to differentiate yourself from everything else out there, you need a BeatSeat. If you're not a musician and you know someone with autism, you know somebody with a sensory therapy or a sensory, I'd say they have like a sensory, it's either highly like really, really sensitive to feeling, or has the opposite. They have this sensory issues, that I can't explain exactly what it is because I'm not a music therapist. But what I can say is also inadvertently, I created the most powerful sensory therapy drum on the planet. Because everywhere you hit it, sounds different. Everywhere you hit it, you feel. And you sit completely upright while you play it. That's something you can't get anywhere else on any other drum. Everything else you have to bend over to play it. You could hurt your back. I designed this so I don't have to bend over. I could jam it out my guitar, kicking it with my feet. But again, if you're not a musician, this is an extremely powerful sensory therapy drum. But again, this is all side. I just wanted to explain to you why I'm different than other realtors, why I'm different than other musicians, and different than anybody else on planet Earth. I won't wait for somebody else to bring me something I need. I'm going to create it. I'm going to go and make it out of wood. I made a sword the other day, made 2 canes. I built BeatSeats. I never was trained. I just see it in my mind. I visualize it, and then I build it. And it's like, okay, what can we do next? I'm building a table next. This table I have here was probably bought, I don't know, we purchased this at some local place. It's like $120 table. Who knows? $100 table. I have no idea. I don't even know where this table came from. But I don't want some crappy table that was made in China here in front of me while I'm creating for you on a daily basis. I got 4 speakers around me I hand built out of flamed maple. 2 are blue, 2 are natural. And so every single thing that I see now, I'm like, I think I could build that out of wood. And so I'm like I'm building picks now. Every single day I don't do it every day now, but I'm building wood picks now. This is such a cool thing for me. Do you know how many picks I've lost over the years? How many times I've had to go buy a 10-pack of picks for $4 or $6, whatever it is, and I never have to buy a pick again. I never thought about it. It's just change the way you look at things. The things you look at change. Oh, I'm out of picks? Let me grab a piece of wood and go and make a couple picks. And now I'm going to start selling picks, different varieties, walnut, olive wood, etc. Oh, yes, sir, I lost my arms. I play a guitar with my whiskers. My man, I'm sorry to hear that. But I will say, the BeatSeat, you don't need to play with your hands. You can kick it with your feet, so you can actually jam out. It's got a kick and a snare with your feet. Kick, snare. And it sounds like a drum kit. So yeah, just what I want to explain to you, though, is that if you're going to do something of your own, don't be afraid to step outside of what they consider to be the proverbial box to do something no one else has thought of yet. especially if you have this burning inside where you're like, that's going to be something. I remember the first drone I bought was $5,000, guys. $5,000. And I remember when I bought it, my wife goes, what are you thinking? And I said, don't worry about it. This is going to pay me back. In like 2-3 months, I'll pay myself back. Because I'm going to get 3 or 4 listings because I'm doing something no one else is doing. I'm providing more for free. I didn't charge anybody for my drone footage at all. But when I went in there and I was able to sit down with them and say, look, if you hire Jane or you hire John, he'll come in here and he'll hire me to come and shoot drone photos, because I used to do drone photos for a lot of agents in my town. They'll hire me to come shoot your drone photos once, and then that's it. And now if you sell the house, you sell the house. I said, if you hire me, you don't charge, there's no charge at all for the drone footage, and I come in once a month to shoot. There's a beautiful sunset. You may see me out in the yard getting another set of drone shots because I am constantly updating my photos. I'm constantly providing something more in order to make sure that today is different than yesterday. I used to have this weekly meeting my manager used to put on called Practice Makes Permanent. It's really a great name for a lesson. Practice makes permanent. We've all heard practice makes perfect, but I like that practice makes permanent because when you do things over and over, it just becomes normal. It's like secondhand, and then it becomes permanent. And so we'd sit down and he would say stuff like, why should I hire you? And you'd sit in a room with 30 other people, 30 other agents. A lot of people get very uncomfortable talking in front of other people, giving their secrets away in front of other people. And I used to just, what do you got, Dave? Let's go. So one day he goes, why should I hire you? What makes you different than the other agent? And I said, because I wake up every morning thinking, what can I do differently today than I did yesterday in order to sell my properties? And the whole room goes, oh. And I was like, that's true. I'm just telling you what's true. Every day I wake up and I say, well, what did I do yesterday? What worked? What didn't? Okay, well, today I'm going to do something completely different. And if that works, I'll stick with it. If it doesn't, then the next day we do something else. And so when I said this, I heard gasps, and I was like, it's not that. I've said many more powerful things than that, but I was like, that's weird. So then the very next week I'm sitting in, and I don't call people out specifically, but one of the agents gets the same question. Well, why should I hire you? And she goes, because I wake up every day thinking, what can I do differently to sell my listings? And she said it so like that. It was just, there was nothing to it. She stole my idea. And there was no passion behind it. There was no truth behind it. It was just like, because I wake up every day thinking about what you mean. I was like, and then I remember I looked around the room and I realized nobody has anything here for me. There's not one thing I could learn from anybody in this room. They're all waiting for me to say the next thing. And so I just never went again. And in a way, I'm an asshole for that. I should have gone back and said, good, these people need some assistance here. You know, let me just keep saying what I say. I didn't have that planned, guys. I didn't go in there and say, well, when Dave asks me today, oh, what makes you different? I'm going to hit him with I wake up every day. I just speak. Words come out of me in the moment. You can't take that and make it yours. You got to come up with your own. So no matter what the question is, history of time, I'm going to respond with what I'm feeling and how I am. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to come in with some pre-canned, phrase. And that one is true. It even sounds canned to me to say it now because I've told that story 50 times. I wake up every day thinking, what can I do differently to sell my properties? When that it doesn't have the same sting that it did when I said it the first time. Because I said it and it just came right out. That the best stuff in life just comes right out, guys. That's why when you're sitting down with someone, this is just a personal tip if you're a realtor or you want to be a realtor. When you're sitting down with someone, the information is paramount. But your connection to that client is even more important. You got to know your stuff. You got to be able to share what's going on in the marketplace. But if you can't connect with that seller, if you can't connect with that buyer, you have no shot. They don't want to work with some dud. They want to work with someone they can get along with. It's a teamwork process. You have to work together. You have to pick someone you can trust and someone you believe in. Is the agent sitting across from you somebody who's inspiring you? Is it somebody who says, you know what, if I was in this house right now and this guy was talking to me, I'd buy it? Or are you saying, I've seen the best agents in the world. I've been in the room with them as they speak to clients, and I'm sitting there in awe that they get business at all. Because they don't have that connection. They're going on reputation. Oh, they sold all these homes. Let's give them the listings. Give them the listing. I'm like, but where is the connection? Where's the authenticity? I don't see any of it. I just see people canned. Oh, well, the market's doing this. The market's down. Houses are up. Blah, blah, blah. Where's the human connection? I think what's made me a great real estate agent over the years is that I connect with my clients. I'm there to provide the best service on planet Earth. I'm providing services no one else offers. I was the first, and I think still the only guy who flies a drone at every property, personally. Most people hire someone. I stopped doing it. I had a side business called the Dr. Drone. And I just never really pursued Dr. Drone. I thought it was a great name for a business. And I thought I'd like build that out, you know, and just have people hire me to go do $250, $300 to do some drone footage. And COVID came, kind of just fell apart on that concept. I had two other things. I had another thing called Stay Safe Concierge. Because you remember when people weren't able to go and see real estate? At the beginning of the pandemic, everybody was shut down, masked, no one was allowed to go out. I came up with this concept of Stay Safe Concierge, where you pick the homes. Hey, Mark, I found this place at 40 Ogden. I'm not leaving my place in the city. No worries. Stay Safe Concierge has got you. I'm going there fully masked up, dressed up, the whole nines. I'll FaceTime the entire walkthrough for you. And you could determine, hey, Mark, you know what? I didn't see that basement. Can you go back down there? I want to look at the mechanicals. Sure, let's do it. All of it's done over FaceTime. Stay Safe Concierge. You stay home. You stay safe. I'll put myself at risk. And that never took off. That should have been massive. So my mind is always thinking, well, what can I do to create a better experience for my consumer? What could I do to provide more? And just to back this up, the reason why I did drone, the reason why I was the first realtor to buy a drone was very simple. We found some information that came through from like NAR, from National Association of Realtors, or from Zillow, something like this. And it said that buyers spend 1.8 seconds on a listing. They look at that first photo, and if they don't like what they see, they move on. And I said, 1.8 seconds? That's freaking ridiculous. I got 36 photos. They're not getting past the first photo, that means. Do you see? Once I realized they're not leaving that first photo didn't grab them, so they're moving on. How do I show the expansiveness in the property with one photo so I get them to photo number 2? That's when I thought of the drone. And it wasn't like I thought of the drone. There was a company out there that was doing helicopter rides. Next 3 weeks from now, we're going on the helicopter and we'll take aerial photography of your property from a helicopter on the telephoto lens. Great, you got the roof? You got the roof there? You got a roof. But that's what they were doing back then, $350. $350, they'll get in a helicopter and they will fly and shoot your property. And so I'm thinking to myself as a young agent, I'm like, okay, wait a second. $300 a property. I work in the high end. I work with high-end sellers, buyers. That's where I wanted to be as a young guy. I'm in an area where there's a lot of wealth. And I'm like, I don't want to go and work in small town Bridgeport where it's $50,000 properties. I want to sell $10 million properties. I want to sell $50 million properties. I haven't seen anything like that yet, but I've seen $6, $7, $10 million. I've seen these properties. They're out there. And I'm like, I want to do that. And so I'm thinking to myself, if I hire a helicopter guy to shoot aerial photography of my property for $350 now, and I get another listing in a few months and another listing, and now I got in the next 10 years, 30, 40 listings, each of them gets $300. I'm like, dude, I just spent like ridiculous money on this. Or I was like, I'm pretty sure drones exist. You know, like there's got to be a drone that I can hook up a camera to and I'll do it myself. And that's how it all started. Then I looked and I found DJI. DJI has become massive since this. But they were the first ones to come out with a consumer drone that you can take photos with. And there could have been other people around the country that were doing this, but I was the first one in the Northeast and the first one in Connecticut to do this. So I buy the drone, spent the $5,000 on it. My wife thought I was nuts. And I said, trust me, I can feel this one is going to be massive. And then she said something that became 100% true. She goes, you're just giving everybody else the idea to buy a drone. They're all going to go buy a drone. And I said something that also came true. I said, yes, anybody could buy a drone, but you have to have an eye. And that's where I realized you could have the greatest ideas in the world. You could say the perfect thing. If someone tries to copy that, it's easily recognizable. They seem fake. Somebody buys a drone and they're like, I got a drone now. Their photos are shit. I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of people that don't have an eye try to shoot drone photography, and it's terrible. And I had one guy who was like, well, I'm just going to go buy a drone. Screw you. And I go ahead. You can go buy a drone. And I saw his photos. I was like, oh my goodness. Like this idea of taking photos of roofs, like what the, nobody wants to see a roof. Okay. So what I said to this gentleman when he was like, oh man, this is a lot harder than I thought. I said, I don't think you realize this. I'm an artist. Before I even fly my drone in the air, I've got 8 shots in my head that I'm getting. I haven't even put it in the air yet. I know what 8 shots I'm getting. You're a guy who's got a drone. You're like, I'm not flying around, shoot the roof. You don't have an artistic eye. I'm sorry. It's just, you either have artistic perspective or you don't. And you're just shooting random. Maybe you get a decent shot every once in a while, but it's a waste of money to buy a drone if you don't have an artistic eye. You need to understand where those angles are on the property, or else you're there all day. You're running out of battery trying to find one good shot. Oh, get the roof. Nobody wants to see a roof. Just the inspector. Inspector wants to get close and see the roof. But so that's basically an overview. You know, you have to be willing to try things in this business if you want to differentiate yourself, if you want to make a name for yourself. That's also, it comes with a double-edged sword. I got a lot of hate. I got a lot of hate in Fairfield County when I did this because no one else had thought of it. Everybody else wanted to think of it. And there's a lot of, Mark with a drone. No. Yeah. You're talking shit because you didn't do it? I told you guys the other day, it's interesting to me, but most times in life, creators get ripped down by those who can't create. Creators are constantly being trolled by people that have zero talent and they can't do. So instead of doing, they rip on people that do. And that's why you have to have thick skin. You have to be willing to understand. And sometimes when I see people troll me, like on TikTok or whatever, I'll just be like, at first it hits me and I'm like, that mother, and then I'm like, let me just check it out. They have zero content. They're out trolling people and they don't even post. They don't even have any creative content and they're out there ripping on other people's creative content. And then I'll just simply respond to them and say, hey buddy, thanks for the comment. You may want to try creating something before you go trying to rip down creators. Just a thought, you know, put something out there instead of going and ripping people down that are putting something out there. You may not agree with somebody. Make a piece of content that's contrary. Oh, I don't agree with this guy, and put it out there. But when you're ripping on people who are doing, you just are an a-hole. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it. Trolls, I never understood, but I do. That's what it is. They're just looking for a rise because they have no talent. And you may be a troll out there who's like, no, I create music and I do this. You're very, very rare. Usually the people that are shit talking are the ones who have no talent. They have no ability to do. So all they do is try to take you off your game. They don't like something you're doing for some reason, and they're going to do everything they can to ruin your life, to ruin your ability to create. They want you out of that zone because they don't have it themselves. It's sad that we have two different people in this world. We have creators and we have destructors. There's a lot more destructors than creators, though, unfortunately. All I can say is that I'm going to keep showing up here and trying to show you what's going on with this marketplace. Oh, my camera went off like 9 hours ago. Great. I don't even know when that went off. But I'm trying to see if I can keep you guys in the loop with what's happening in the real estate world. And just to remind you that you've got something unique within you. Whatever it is you're doing for a living, you could be the differentiator in your business. The question is, where are the voids? What are you missing, or what is somebody else not seeing currently that you may be able to see? And if you could find that, if it's a $5,000 drone, if it's a new drum that now exists and never did in the history of time, go for it. What's the worst that happens? You fail? You learn in the process? I think every successful person that I've ever seen said, you got to fail more than you want to in order to find success. Everything's a failure until you hit. But just remember one reality. Everybody's a nobody until they're somebody. So all those people you look up to out there, all those social media influencers, all those celebrities, this politician, whatever it is, everybody's a nobody until they're somebody. That person still has an insecurity within them when they were a nobody. Yeah, they may be on top of the world now, and they may have all the confidence in the world at this moment because they are somebody, but there was a time when they were nobody, because we're all born the same. Yeah, there's royals who are born with a silver spoon in their mouth, so they're born with this whole other understanding and wealth. Okay. But in general, when you're trying to figure things out, you're the same as everybody else. And it's a journey, my friends. It's a journey. Andrea said, Mark, you had me at, I'm going to keep showing up every day. Oh, my goodness. So I appreciate you guys being here on YouTube and being here on Clapper. Guys, if you can head over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate that. I am going to try to make a couple of cold calls right now on YouTube. So if you guys can head over, and it's going to probably go really badly, just so you know. Usually these phone calls are not good. Sometimes you get lucky and you get a conversation with someone, but most times it's either a voicemail or you get someone who says, what the f*** are you bothering me on New Year's Day for? I'm like, well, your house is expired. Sometimes they hang up on you mid-call. This is cold calls. I usually do that in the car, and then I'll get smashed in the face and make another phone call. Who cares? But it's a little, it's a vulnerable thing to get on the air and take those calls. So we're gonna try that today for the first time. If you can, right now, just check out Mark Inspires on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the bell. We'll probably be doing this every day now. This expires almost every day. So if I can get all the names, I'll call on them daily. Maybe that'll be a new series here. Smashed in the face by a seller. By Menon. Guys, when you're doing it by Menon, you know. So I'm going to say goodbye to you guys on Clapper. Please head over to YouTube now to watch the cold calls. We're doing it. Mark Inspires, day 1827 in a row, every single day, 1827 days, fam. So head over. I'll see you in a minute. All right, we just dropped them off. So, what do we got here, fam? I pulled up a couple of phone numbers here. I don't know how this is going to go. Like I said, it's usually pretty bad. These things go pretty bad. Woo! Guys, when you're doing it and you're in the process of making cold calls, you know? All right, let's do this. I'm going to go over here to whatever I pulled up. All right, so this is going to be interesting. All right, where's my little sticker? Here we go. So, I've got, it looks like 2 that we can call right now. I didn't get through 2. I didn't find more than that, but let's just try. We're going to see what happens here. What's her name again? No, I forgot her name. All right, let's go back over here. All right, let's go back to the original listing. That'll tell me her name. So there actually are 48 expired listings today, and I got to make sure I call on all of them. Right now I have the first 2, so we'll start there, and then I'll probably either work on them while we're live or I'll just do it later. Okay, Fran. Let's give Fran a call and see if we can get anywhere. Fran's listing is $2.5 million. Nice. Let me make sure. I'm going to pull up the listing. Let's see what we got here. It looks like it's a new home to be built. Let me see what we have here. Let me open this up so we can get a little overview before we call. All right. New home to be built. You will love coming home. Beautiful new construction in prime South Wilton location by Hobie award-winning Able Construction. I know them well. Picturesque 2.37 acres of park-like property is a stunning modern farmhouse, a welcoming covered porch to the inviting back porch. This home is bright and airy, an open floor plan with a spacious first floor master suite, spa-like bath, and generous size walk-in closet. The sunroomed, sun-filled gourmet kitchen with custom cabinetry, quartz countertops, and handsome center island at a thermidor. Okay, let's see. I think we got enough here. I just want to see, and I know Janet, the listing agent, sorry, but it's expired. We're going to look at the photos here. These are all similar to, this isn't actually the work. Ooh, it's got a barn on it. Oh no, they're just showing Ambler Farm. Okay. So, 11 Powderhorn. We got a dot. Here we go. Hi, may I speak to Fran, please?
Sorry.
Do I have the wrong number? See, told you. Sorry, and they hang right up on me. All right, so that's not Fran's number, clearly. If it was, we probably would have gotten a response. Sorry. I bet you I'm the 38th call today. Everybody calls in these expireds. Now, I used to be probably one of the few that did. Okay, is there another way to find her? I don't know. All right, we're going to do something else instead. We're going to do something else instead. We're going to call on the other one, and that one's probably going to be even worse than a quick hang up. Let's see. This one here is expired, and it expired at, let's just confirm that. I'm pretty sure it's ridiculous. And we're going after the ridiculous stuff here. $11.5 million. I feel like I called these people once and got smashed. Let's do it. Let's do it, people. Right? We're done it. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Ashish. Ashish and Leslie. Ashish and Leslie. Ashish. Never heard a name like that before, but it's the name. 06. All right. Here we go, guys. Second cold call. Fingers crossed.
Hi, leave a message. This mailbox is full and is no longer accepting new messages. Goodbye.
All right. Let's try to send a text to this person because they're not, it's clearly their mailbox is full. I said people are all calling on it, you have to imagine. Good afternoon. Afternoon. Comma. My name is Mark Pires with Berkshire Hathaway. I wanted to wish you a happy new year and just touch base. Your house expired. I won't say the address because you guys, hold on. And I was hoping you may be open to a fresh approach. If you have a few minutes of time, I'd really enjoy speaking with you about how we could differentiate your property from the rest of the marketplace. With the use of social media video, live streaming from your property. And I also have this idea of creating an event, like a Great Gatsby type event at your house. I'd love a couple minutes of time to see if we could discuss this idea. I am available. My phone number's, I won't say. It's probably pretty easy to find, but I am available to discuss at your convenience. Together, we can reach the deepest pool of qualified buyers and put this chapter of your life behind you. Thank you so much for your time. Mark Pires. All right. It's a text. It's the best we could do. You know, we tried to call, tried to get them on the line. They're not picking up. So that's what we got for today. I'm going to see if I can get some more for you guys so we can actually do lots of cold calls going forward. See them get smashed in the face 50 times instead of just once, you know. But I hope you enjoyed this real estate overview today. discussing where we are expecting this market to go in 2024. I will be here every single day live, but I will be here every single day selling real estate. So keep that in mind. If you need anything at all, anywhere at all, just shoot me a note. I can help you. Doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is ask, and I'll do the research. I'll locate a great agent for you. And if you like them and wind up using them, it will cost you exactly the same as it does if you just picked up the phone today and called somebody. So keep that in mind. And I hope to see you guys later. I'm not sure if I'll be back late tonight for a little overview and best of, but we are officially here. First show of 2024. And I want to thank you guys for being here with me. Let's see who else is here. Trish Killian. I got Andrea O'Neill. Kill it and grill it. Tara Bell is kicking it. I love it. I was so glad to see Tara Bell here with us last night. Oh my goodness. Virginia, Old Soul. Guys, I wrote a song called Old Soul for Old Soul. I still haven't released it, but it's beautiful. Oh my goodness. One of these days I'll get to editing that as well. I think there's a long version of it out there, but I never actually physically released it on iTunes or Spotify. It's not on an album yet. There are 16 albums, 209 songs currently available on iTunes and Spotify. So if you do want to go and support a brother, you can do that. Gabrielle Stager in the house. Oh goodness. Charlie Harrington. So good to see you, pal. I'm just scrolling through to see who I may have missed during the feed. I think I got everybody, but I'm not certain. If I missed you, say hello now or forever hold your peace. At least until we do it again, which is probably either later or tomorrow morning. But, fam and friends, thank you for kicking it with me today. As we discussed real estate, we discussed what this is like to go out and sell and to work with clients. And then, of course, we went over a couple of calls, which didn't really lead us anywhere, you know. But this is a work in progress. So, if you can, guys, please leave a comment after the show. Like if you haven't yet. Share. And I will be back with content. I got a few things for you today. That Israel, the rest of the Israel story, there's another piece I didn't drop yet. I'll drop that today. And I did get at least a picture of that article on the whole, the Nazi going after the Nazis, which I'm interested in seeing. I haven't read that yet. So we'll get into that as well. And then, if you can, stay tuned. I'll have a lot for you. Until then. You got to go away. Oh, S. Coop in the house. Catching us at the end. You rock, S. Coop. This is a powerful show of real estate content today. And really some useful tips if you're going to be either buying, selling, or consider being a realtor. So I hope to see you tomorrow. Oh, it looks like I'm not. That's why we're going to go back to the main screen to do that. Until later, fam. Have an awesome day. I'm going to go sell some real estate. Go try to find some new listings. You got to go away.